Joe, what are we always looking for in our clubs?
I think something we're always looking for newcomers, new people to come on in.
Yeah, it's kind of tired of the old comers, right?
You know, it happens, right? It happens. We get a little bit tired of the old comers.
Yeah, we kind of do get a little bit tired of the old comers. We always looking for new people to join our clubs because, you know what? They've got interesting new stories.
That's true. They bring a lot of fresh perspectives, new stories.
Yeah.
And so today in the story, TGIF and Born to Shine Christian Toastmasters, what do we've got?
We got 2 newcomers.
That's right.
Yeah.
2 people that have been here for a little less than a year.
A little less than a year. Joe introduced one of them to the club.
Right. And Paul technically brought all of us. All of us are here because of Paul. Maybe even you, dear viewer, dear listener, are here because of Paul.
Yeah, but I'm very excited today because we've got Molly Wang and we've got Kiki Lee.
That's right.
They will be joining us. They are 2 new members. Kiki's a member of TGIF, Christian Toastmasters, and Molly is a member of Born to Shine, Christian Toastmasters. They'll be joining us to share their perspectives of joining our clubs.
That's right. And so, friends, today we are looking at newcomers, their experiences, what they've learned, and what we can learn from them.
Well, Joe, welcome back to the story at TGIF and Born to Shine Christian Toastmasters. Today I'm really excited. Are you?
Oh, this is going to be a fantastic episode.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I'm just so excited because we have all of these newcomers.
I know. 2 newcomers.
That's true.
And by newcomers, we mean people who've been in the club for less than 1 year.
The definition is important.
It is important. Yes.
So let's introduce our guests before we get into
let's do
all
that,
the questions we have for our newcomers. And actually, for those of you who are watching and you're listening, it's almost like Paul brought in somebody.
I did.
And I brought in somebody.
You did.
So I'll start with the person I brought.
Okay, well, you do that.
And then you can introduce who you brought. It's not a challenge, though. I'm
I
not
brought
saying
you.
it's
I brought you.
It's true. You brought 2. That's not fair.
So I brought 2 people in. And by extension, 3.
3.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Okay. Well, so friends, the guest that I have brought is a newcomer to TGIF, and her name is Kiki. Now, Kiki is a very good classmate of mine at the Translation and Interpreting program over at NTNU. Welcome, Kiki.
Yeah, welcome, Kiki.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kiki. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah,
today.
you're welcome. It's great to have you, yeah. And the person I brought is a former student of mine.
Whoa.
Nice. A former student of mine. She was in my class for a little while, and she's currently working in the technology sector selling electronic components. I know that her goal is to become like one of the top presenters in Taiwan and also a big influence in the tech industry. Her name is Molly.
Hi, everyone. My name is Molly. Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, it's great to have you,
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, really, I'm looking forward to the kind of conversations we'll be having. We'll be kind of looking into your experience as newcomers, what brought you here.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of what brought them here.
Well, Joe, I have another guest that I also brought here. You, like 10 years ago. But you're not a newcomer. You're an old comer.
I'm an old comer.
Okay, today's the newcomers. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
It is true, though. You basically brought everybody in the room. By
Exactly,
extension. That is so funny.
It is.
So one of the traditional questions we ask on this program, our listeners and viewers know it quite well, is how did you find our organization? So how did you find Toastmasters? Like, what was the first time Toast and Masters in a sentence together hit your ears? And I'd like to start with Kiki.
Oh, I actually heard the first time I know Toastmaster was when I was in college. I heard Toastmaster, and I know it's a organization that related to like public speech. So, but my impression toward Toastmaster is like a lot of businessmen like wearing suits. Yeah, elite and standing there. They make connections, and it's a serious like situation. So I was a little bit like afraid of this kind. Although I really want to practice my public speaking skills, but I'm afraid of that kind of vibe. So I didn't join. I didn't join at that time. That's the first time.
Which university?
NTU.
NTU.
Yeah.
Wow.
And-
Oh, she's smart.
NTU Toastmasters, they're quite famous.
Yeah, they're very famous. Yeah.
They're opposite our Fridays. So
Yeah.
they would always be like, hey, can you come over to NTU? I'm like, why don't you just all come to TGIF?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's on one of our previous episodes, one of our guests, Emily,
Yeah.
her and her sister Alice, the twins, that's how they were first exposed to Toastmasters, was at NTU Toastmasters during their summer camp.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
small side note, Alice, Emily, and I, we actually ran a Toastmasters camp at NTU together
You did?
back in 2015.
You didn't invite me?
Did we not invite you?
Probably not.
It even had a T-shirt. I have a picture.
Oh, that's why you didn't have a T-shirt my size.
Molly, how about you? I guess through this guy?
Well, actually, I tried to find him, and actually, is like I tried to ask Paul that could I know about Toastmaster, and here's the story. Before I know him and go to the English class, I work in a Japanese company. As a Japanese company, I had to face with the customer who need to speak in English. So at that time, I would like to study and learn more to improve my English skill, and I would like to find the English class. But at that time, there will be two choice, and one is Paul, and another one, another teacher. And I still hesitate, like, to do the comparison. And after comparison, I find the keyword is on their introduction. It's called Toastmaster.
Oh,
I just finally realized that, I used to went there before in Kaohsiung.
yeah.
And that's the reason why I choose that class, and that's why I try to ask you
I see.
when you are teaching English.
I see. Yeah.
So overall, it's mean like I think it's a key part, a smart choice that we could put Toastmaster on your CV.
In Kaohsiung, which club were you with?
I think it's in Kaohsiung University. I forgot.
Okay, Kaohsiung University. Yeah. And how long were you in Toastmasters then?
7 years ago.
But how many?
How many years?
How many?
How long, right?
Yeah, like a year, 2 years.
It takes about like half a year because I went to Beijing.
Oh, okay. So you're only in Toastmasters for 6 months. Very short. Very short.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the next question we want to ask you is like, what about TGIF and Born and Shine? What about these two clubs made you want to join? Like, why our club specifically? You know about Toastmasters. You've heard about Toastmasters. Kiki thinks we're a bunch of like boring guys in suits.
Yeah, for those of you who are just listening, Paul was all sorts of gestures of tying a tie and looking amazing.
Yeah.
You looked the part.
You know the last time I wore a tie, Joe?
I can't remember.
Nor can I. Probably my wedding. Yeah. But yeah, what about TGIF and Born to Shine attracted? Because Kiki, you're in TGIF, and Molly, you're in Born to Shine. So what about our clubs attracted you to join our clubs? Well, maybe we can start with Kiki, yeah?
So the second time I heard Toastmaster is when Joe told me, "Hey, I'm in Toastmaster, and the club name is called TGIF." And I thought, the name is quite interesting. And Joe emphasized that because the meeting is held on Friday.
Sure.
So TGIF tried to make the Friday night really interesting and funny so that people will like come here instead of going to KTV and go to our
Exactly.
a lot of Friday night activities.
Yeah.
So I thought that is really like different impression that I had for
Sure.
So when the first time I came, it's like Joe told me Toastmaster like for about like more than 2 years, and then I finally come.
That's right. Yeah.
So Joe,
It was worth it. It was worth it. What do you want?
Wait a second. I'm going to teach you how to be more persuasive.
Hey, if you win in the end, if Kiki's here, it's great. Go on. Don't mind Paul.
You and I will talk later.
We'll talk
Please,
later.
Kiki, yeah.
So the time I finally decided to come is like when Joe said, "Hey, I'm going to be there is a like 10-year anniversary. It's so a special event. There will be food and really interesting part. And Joe is the host for the night. So,
Yes.
this sounds so interesting.
Yeah,
I should
sure.
go. So and because it's like the last year in my graduate school, so I want to do something different in my like last school life.
Okay.
So I came, and I feel, whoa, this is really great. So
Bunch of guys in suits, yeah?
Yeah,
boring.
no guys in
No guys in suits.
no guys in suits.
Well, I mean, Joe always tells me that you walked into TGIF and your first meeting was the anniversary.
Yeah.
The second meeting was the debate.
Oh yeah.
And the third meeting was Christmas. And so, like, your first 3 meetings were all special meetings, and then you still decided to join.
Yeah. Yeah. And the first general meeting I joined is like, so I gave my icebreakers
Yeah.
on my first like
Really?
meeting. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What I find funny about that is all of those 3 meetings, Carolyn was showing up.
Yeah, now she doesn't come.
And, it was like, oh, it's a special event. I should be there.
Listen.
Oh, it's a special event. And then Kiki gives her icebreaker. She shows up. And Paul's like, oh, Carolyn, are you joining?
Exactly.
And
Listen,
what-
I want to make my promise again to Carolyn. Like, if you join, this is a public promise. If
Yeah.
you join, I will wear your sweatshirt with Pokemon. It's Pokemon, right?
It's Bulbasaur, yes, indeed.
Well, a silly pink shirt with Pokemon. I will wear it and give a speech and post it online.
And we have the close-up of your face, so Carolyn.
Exactly. I'm not lying. Yeah.
Carolyn, please join. I want to see.
But that night, I remember when Paul asked, and
Yeah.
Carolyn goes, well, Kiki's speaking, so still special meeting.
Oh, well, there you go. Of course, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And Molly, what about you? What attracted you to Born to Shine?
Like actually, I used to have the same imaging like Kiki.
Ah,
Like all the
suits.
people wear suit, especially when I was in the university.
Yeah, sure.
I used to represent my university to join that kind of competition.
Sure.
Oh.
And we also win the first place. So at the first time before I joined, I will feel like, oh, it was kind of serious places
Mm-hmm.
with a little bit nervous atmosphere.
Yeah.
But when the guitar music come, and I was shocked. And I was surprised that, oh, how chill is it? It's so cool. I never heard that before. And it also had the bilingual language. That was
Sure.
quite amazing for me.
Okay.
And so at that time, although I bring my laptop because I prepare for the presentation, which
Sure.
I need to show the Silicon Valley. And I still remember when I saw someone, I saw Eric Mart.
Yeah.
And I feel like I used to saw these guys before. And I just remember that, oh, he's a speaker who
Yeah.
is used to come to Kaohsiung to have to speak before. And I would say, oh, that's kind of giant used to have the kind of presentation before. You sounds cool, and maybe I can learn more over there. And not only this, another
Sure.
thing is like I have the kind of belonging in here, just like kind of family.
Sure.
And we just cheer together and try to improve our language together.
Sure.
And that was a great place to learn, and it's a kind of positive way to learn and improve my English skill. So that's why, and that was the difference that I feel before.
Yeah. But and about the guitar, you mean Lester's playing
Yeah.
the worship
Ah,
song?
yes.
Yeah, that guitar, yeah.
The guitar makes a really big difference. I don't know for you, Kiki. I mean, were you surprised to see that we start with a song in your first meeting? I mean, maybe because it was a party, you're like, oh,
Yeah, maybe. I didn't feel really like strange, but I just think like guitar is the theme for this kind of meeting.
it does kind of feel like a theme that we have.
It does.
Yeah.
But I do want to also comment on what Molly said, because I remember Tina, when we had Tina here in the previous episode, Tina was commenting because Tina went to Janda and then she joined Born and Shine, and we asked Tina, why didn't she join Janda Toastmasters? Why did she join Born and Shine? And she said, well, it was kind of boring.
I heard that.
So I'm just wondering, Molly, like Kaohsiung Toastmasters, University Toastmasters compared to Born and Shine, like they're very serious compared to us.
Yeah, I didn't mean that. Not bad, but I prefer
Sure.
the one with music.
What I find really interesting, so we've done a Chinese episode
Sure.
recently, and Iris was talking about how our club for new people can feel sometimes intimidating. We've literally had members who have joined and been like, they've listened to Paul talk, or they've listened to Eric give a speech and like, I could never do that. And they feel kind of intimidated. So it's interesting to hear from you two that like, oh, actually, it's really chill and laid back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really interesting to see actually TGIF and Born to Shine kind of ride that balance.
It is interesting to see us ride that balance, because you are right. Like, a lot of people feel a lot of pressure when they're coming into the clubs. And I just feel like what you guys are saying encourages us to know that we do actually try and have some fun.
We try to have fun. That's I'm so happy to hear. And so since kind of talking about, okay, you get into the club, you realize we're not all boring old men in suits. We do have some fun.
There's not all men in our club, Joe.
There are not a single one.
Not a single one.
Not a single one.
Not anybody over 16.
So what have you thought about your experience so far? Either, the process of doing table topics, your first speech, how was that? Just really broadly, what has it been like for you starting in day one as a member, not just a guest, enjoying some cool guitar playing and some fun events?
Yeah.
And so, Molly, can I start with you? And actually, when did you join? Do you remember?
Maybe like last year around like in April.
In April? Okay.
Yeah. But after April, I went to have a business trip, so just come like once a month last year. And for me, it would be like I think I'm the kind of person who love well organized, and I always let my schedule is in the kind of tight schedule. So, but I really love Toastmaster, like which the whole schedule is like well organized, and you know what you're going to do in every moment. And also our topic is different, and every people or every members have from different background, different industry, and they have their own stories, and I really enjoy the stories. And also people always give the positive feedback, but this kind of positive feedback doesn't mean you need to have a great passion on it.
Right.
Yeah, people will enjoy it, and you can also learn a lot from it. So that's what I feel great about well organized, the whole system, and people who you gathering with. That's what I prefer, and that's what I like.
Yeah. Did you see her C1 speech? Her icebreaker speech?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this.
You're gonna have to watch. But I remember it was Holy Moly's YOLO Life.
Oh, I've seen the title. Yes.
Yeah, Holy Moly's YOLO Life. Have you seen it?
Now I need to go
Kiki?
watch it.
Not yet.
Oh, you guys got to go
All right,
watch
Kiki,
it.
we have homework.
Yeah.
But the one thing I remember about that speech is there's like, because Molly's really great with PowerPoint, right? So like Molly's got this PowerPoint, and there's Molly like bungee jumping. You're like,
What? Really?
yeah, there's Molly bungee jumping. But the other thing I remember about that is her Google Calendar. she in the speech, the one thing I love doing is PowerPoint and my Google Calendar. And then she shows a picture of a Google Calendar, and it's like what she's saying, her schedule is jammed. Yeah, like she loves PowerPoint and Google Calendars, correct?
Yeah, you're right.
I think you're the first person I have ever met who's been like, oh man, I love Google Calendar.
Yeah, and that's why I told my interviewer when I tried to have a company interview, like every interview was shocked about my hobbies.
Yeah.
And like every time when I went to a new company, and my supervisor would say, "Let's welcome Molly, the one who loved doing PowerPoint," and everyone just clap around because no one loved doing PowerPoint.
You're a treasure.
Yeah. And so if you go look at her first speech, like it was an incredible PowerPoint presentation, truly, yeah.
Well, it's going into the show notes. So
Yeah,
for
you're gonna have to do that. Yeah.
Scroll down. Molly's speech is there.
But I also want to ask Molly another follow-up to that. I mean, as you said, you joined just a little less than a year ago, as of recording now. But you also last year came to our end-of-term dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
What was your impression of that? Because you were like really new when you came to the end-of-term dinner. You had just joined like about a month or 2 months. I know Kiki hasn't been to one yet.
Kiki's just looking at us like, end of what?
For those who don't know, like at the end of June every year, like there's a transition between the officer teams in Toastmasters clubs, and TGIF and Born used to have big dinners, but then we had COVID, and we couldn't do that for a while. And last year was the first one we did in 4 years. And I was just wondering, what is your impression of that?
Well, I would love to join anything, but as a tight schedule, I sometimes will skip. But for this time, I just don't want to miss it because I really want to know more each other in this group because I feel like I belong to here, and every time I join any activity, I will get something or know more about all of the members.
Sure.
And also I could learn a lot from it. And this kind of value is better than when I try to watch a movie or doing something like just hang out or looking at the drama whole day.
Sure.
This is much more better than that.
Sure.
Right,
Sure,
yes.
Sure. Because at the end of term dinner we have those pretty special. Like
It-
not a lot of clubs do it. Yeah.
It's true. And Kiki, are you even going to be in Taiwan at the end of June?
Yeah, I think I will be.
Because
Right.
end of term dinner,
June 21st.
if you love Google Calendar, you can add it to your
Okay,
June
yeah, I will
21st.
do it.
June 21st. If
Yeah.
you're watching, actually, I don't know if this episode will be up by then, but maybe you can also come.
Yeah. Well, I've actually arranged my whole travel schedule around that.
It's true. Well, Kiki, honestly, the end of term dinner is why I joined TGIF.
Really?
So Paul, back when we had this old education system, you would do 10 speeches, and your 10th speech would be this long speech about inspiring a crowd.
Sure.
It's a little bit different now.
Oh.
But Paul was giving his 10th speech. And back then, the end of term dinner was like a graduation ceremony.
Sure.
And Paul was like, I'm graduating.
Exactly.
You have to come. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
So you think you've been to a special event. If you haven't been to the end of term dinner,
Exactly.
the special events, except for maybe Christmas. Our Christmas
yeah.
parties are really good.
Yeah.
The Christmas party, end of term dinner, same level.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I shouldn't miss any like special event.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because Carolyn will definitely come if you
Carolyn
come.
will definitely come.
Yeah, but Kiki, we also just want to ask you, what is about your experience so far?
Oh, I want to share like the real reason why I joined TGIF, even if I haven't joined any like general meeting, is like TGIF like gave me an impression that everyone is really friendly and nobody, because I was afraid of like public speaking in English, just because
Sure.
I always think I don't have like perfect English. So when I stand on stage, I will be really nervous and my English will like that. But then
Right.
I found when in TGIF, everyone is. Oh, and another thing is I feel that if like a lot of Taiwanese speaking English is like they have like like this ABC like accent or like kind of thing. But I don't think I have that kind of personality, so I
Sure.
really don't have confidence doing this like in front of a lot of people. But in TGIF, I see a lot of different kinds of people with different personality, but nobody judge them when they stand on stage. They use, no matter how their English like grammar or vocabulary is, they just want to share their story, and everyone is like looking them really with like shining eyes, really listening to the story, and I like that atmosphere. So, and I remember in my like icebreaker speech when I stand on stage. Oh yeah, before the icebreaker speech, I was so nervous, and I attended like an online meeting.
Oh,
with-
that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, Joe and other members, they asked me, "Oh, what question do you have?"
Let's
So,
see.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you had the first Q&A, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Q&A session. So I remember maybe Joe or Eric or somebody told me just enjoy the stage. So I remember on the day I stand on stage, I saw everyone's eyes like really they were looking forward to listening to what am I talking? Yeah, what is my story? So at the time I feel that is the thing I want to achieve, that I want to use. I want to have an opportunity to use my English to share story, not without like thinking about what is my point, what point do I get, and that kind of thing. So far, I feel I got a lot of like this in TGIF.
Well, you know what made all our eyes explode?
Huh?
You know what made our eyes explode when you gave a speech? Your last speech, like how to be influential.
Oh yeah,
You got up there and said, I'm a mother of 4 kids or 5 kids or 6 kids or something. That blew our brains out.
That was an amazing opening. It's going in the show notes.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
we have
got
that
it.
video up.
Yeah, the video's up. Yeah.
In the
How did
show
it-
notes.
Yeah. She doesn't really have 6 kids. Go watch the speech. Yeah.
Eon, we're telling you, Kiki doesn't have 5 mysterious children.
yeah.
Don't get worried about
But
it.
when she's like, and at the end of the day, I had like 5 kids. Like, it was like, what? Our brains like blown. How many speeches have you done in Born and Shine, Molly?
I mean, I think like 4 pitches.
Four. Yeah, four.
Yeah.
And yourself, Kiki?
2.
Two. Okay.
2.
And the experiences, so like Kiki's just saying her experience of giving speeches is like very encouraging from the evaluators and just from the crowd in general. What is your experience of giving speeches, Molly?
Well, there's a great improvement is I finally have a presentation without doing the PowerPoint.
That was fantastic. Yeah.
Whoa.
Because I'm a PPT like PowerPoint lover. I just I need PowerPoint without presentation. It's too hard for me. But at that time, because I know the evaluation section, they had a feedback say maybe next time don't use PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So I didn't use that for the next presentation, and it sounds good. And right now I didn't use PowerPoint for every speech.
Yeah. No, I think that's very important. You know, I think PowerPoint's an important skill.
Yeah.
It's a very, very important skill. I'm not saying it's not an important skill, but if you're good at PowerPoint, you need to get good at delivering speeches without PowerPoint. I mean, I think there's some of us in the club that can actually learn how to use PowerPoint properly. I'm not going to say names, Lester. I mean, yeah, Paul as well. Some of us can really like learn a lot about using PowerPoint properly. But I think if you already know how to do it, then it's better to learn how to tell the stories without PowerPoint. I don't know what you think, Joe.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And a lot of times our advice to newcomers is focus on your story first, which is what Kiki's talking about. And kind of the other things like PowerPoint you can work on as you go. Because for me, if you're good at PowerPoint, focus on storytelling.
Yeah.
If you're not good at PowerPoint, it's okay. Focus on storytelling. Because the PowerPoint, everything else is sort of the wrapping.
Yeah, sure.
The way you tell about your data, the stories is what really matters. I'm encouraged to hear from Kiki that the kind of environment that we have is one that encourages you to just share your story, not freak out about whether your English is okay, or for us, whether our Chinese is okay. We spent an hour in our last episode wondering that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's good. It sounds like both of you have had a pretty good experience. And so just to kind of hear that and what you've learned is just really, really great.
So we're going to take a short break, but thank you for sharing, and we'll just come back in a minute or two after a short break. Thank you. We've just had a wonderful 20 minutes talking to Molly and Kiki and learning about what it feels like for a newcomer in TGIF and Born and Shine. Perhaps you've never been in a Toastmasters club before. Perhaps you are a newcomer. Perhaps you are a little bit nervous about walking in through the doors of a Toastmasters club. But as you can hear from Kiki and Molly, the experience is truly unique in our clubs. We are an encouraging group of people. We usually meet every Friday night, except on the 5th Friday of every month. And we usually meet near Arnhem MRT station, a place called SW6. So we just encourage you to come and join us and just come and meet the people at TGIF and Born and Shine. We'd love to welcome you, both newcomers and people who are not such newcomers. We look forward to meeting you soon.
Welcome back to The Story, TGIF and Born to Shine Christian Toastmasters. Today, on our episode, we have the newcomers. We've been talking to Kiki and Molly about their experiences and about how we're not just a bunch of people in suits and ties that are kind of boring, Paul.
Yeah, I know. I'm very excited about today's episode, and it's quite interesting that they had that perception of Toastmasters.
I think you probably completely broke that.
Well, I actually did used to wear a suit to Toastmasters. You know that?
Really?
Yeah, a while back. But I haven't worn a suit for a while, but that was when Eric told me I should pitch up and dress properly. So I did for a while.
It is funny. Eric Ma does usually show up in suits.
Well, not really suits, but sports jackets, yeah.
Sports jackets.
Yeah. But what we do want to get back to Molly and Kiki, and the first question we want to ask after the break is, what did you like about the process of joining, and how could the experience of joining TGI for Born and Shine have been improved? Like what were the things you enjoyed that you found easy? What was that experience? And do you think anything can be improved in the way we just bring people into the club?
It's like your turn to be an evaluator of
exactly.
the club. You're evaluating us now.
Yes. So maybe we can throw the question to Molly, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I really love that kind of, because as Toastmaster website, you could search anything before you have a presentation, from evaluator to the speaker, and all the information is on the website.
Yeah, sure.
But for me, I know the website is user-friendly, but sometimes I just still need to take time to familiar with that. And for example, like after the meeting, I still need to try to find which website or what kind of button or what kind of things I need to update online. And if it's possible, like maybe next time we can have a section to teach how to let the newcomer to use the system.
Actually, the truth is, like, even people like me have no idea how to use pathways. Like, we really... The one guy who asks is Alex Shi.
Alex Shi,
Like,
yes.
he's the expert on pathways. But you and me both, Molly, like, we are completely befuddled by pathways.
I see.
So that's a newcomer problem. But I'm happy to know it's like Toastmasters International. Are you listening? Newcomers, all comers. We're struggling with pathways. Make it. It should just be 2 buttons, right? Like log in, click, and then boom, your path, boom, and then I've done that project. It should not be. We were counting last night, Eric and myself. You know how many clicks you got to get to your PDF?
Can I guess it's going to be 12?
We count about 9.
Oh, okay. A little less than I thought.
Yeah, a little less than you thought. Oh, so you mean it's a good system?
I mean,
But-
cut. No,
Yeah, cut. Toastmasters, are you listening? Yeah. But Molly, specifically about TGIF and Born and Shine, was there anything else that was within our control that we could have improved?
Another thing is that I'm not sure, everyone, every time I had a speech, will the evaluator will be the same, or
Sure.
could I ask someone, could you be my
Oh.
Yes, of
next
course you
time?
can, yeah.
Okay.
Why? Have you always had the same evaluator?
I'm not sure, but maybe it's Alice.
Oh, your
Alice-
first...
oh,
no, your
Alice, so
first...
sorry.
Your first evaluator was Emily.
I'm sorry, Alice and Emily.
This is
I feel confused.
Don't worry. Lester still confuses them.
this is a twin recognition issue.
Don't worry, Lester still gets them confused because Emily gave a speech and Lester at the end of the speech went up to Alice and said, "Hey, Alice, I liked your speech." And I said, "What speech?" It's fine, yeah.
But, it does happen sometimes the way
Yeah.
the schedule works out. You get the same evaluator. And yeah, I definitely encourage you. Go to your VP and be like,
Yeah.
hey, can I have someone else? Or ask somebody.
Yeah.
Sometimes Paul, he'll be giving a competition speech and he'll get Eric or Douglas because he really wants that perspective.
Yeah.
It's like Kiki and I with the translation program. We evaluate each other too. And sometimes you've had the same person evaluating you for a couple of weeks.
I
And you're
see.
like,
Yeah.
they get some new perspective. So it's good. It's good. Yeah, definitely.
And Kiki, how about you? What did you like about the process? And then what do you think we could improve about welcoming newcomers into the club?
Oh, I like everyone is really friendly and patient to answer my different kind of questions. But I think if we have I agree what Molly said, and I also think of every time we got into a meeting, we got a paper for that night schedule.
Oh,
The
the
agenda,
agenda.
Yeah,
the
the
agenda.
agenda for the night. But there are some numbers I don't understand, like pathway numbers or something. If in front of
Oh.
the topic of a speech.
Okay.
So I don't know what is that at the beginning. So I think maybe a lot of people have already asked this question to ask this question. So if we can have some, it's standard procedure. So if someone told newcomers this, then old comers don't need to answer the same question again and again. And also another question I always have is when can I schedule my next speech, or when is the pace for? I'm not sure if this is clear enough.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I don't know if it maybe for a newcomer, is it, for example, 3 months for one speech? Is that good or
I
not?
encourage
Yeah.
every new member
Yeah.
to give 10 speeches in a year.
Oh,
So I
Right.
encourage you to be coming to the club. If you want to be my mentee, I say that you have to come to every single meeting, both TGIF and Born and Shine. You have to participate fully in both clubs. Be timer, be eye counter, do table topics, participate. And my condition for anybody who wants to be my mentee is that you have to give 10 speeches in a year, or else I don't want to be your mentor.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
So like you can contact your VP anytime and ask them to give a speech.
they will be happy.
They will be very happy.
Linda will be happy, and whoever future VP is,
Yeah, they'll be very happy.
very happy.
And Jenny, and if you want to give a speech in Born and Shan, Jenny will be very happy too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I first joined, Paul's first advice to me was 10 speeches in a year.
Yeah.
And it really helps because if you do like one speech every 3 months,
Yeah.
you tend to forget
Ah.
the advice you got or how you felt or what went wrong.
So this is something which I learned from a very famous speaker in the United States called Tony Robbins. When he was younger, he was doing a lot of corporate training. And he said like in his company, he was working for a corporate training company before he became famous. And he said in that company, people were doing on average like one presentation a week. He chose to do, and the presentation was 3 hours. So you could do it like in the morning and the afternoon. He chose to do 15 a week.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
So like he'd do 2 a day, not one a week or something. And so, but he said like by the end of 1 month, he had like 15 times more experience than everybody else, and he was just that much better than everybody else. And what happens in Toastmaster, what I found, like we had this old system that Joe spoke to earlier about competent communicator, and competent communicator was basically 10 basic speeches that you did. And we would always encourage people in the club to do that in at least a year, like get it done in a year. But I'd been in Toastmasters. There were people who had been in Toastmasters for like 4, 5, 6 years. They had not finished competent communicator. And that means that only giving like 1 or 2 speeches a year, how are you going to improve if that's your case? You know, and so I encourage every new member, like get up there, give 10 speeches a year, schedule it. And that means you're probably giving 1 speech a month.
Yeah, about maybe you get like a couple of weeks of a break. But honestly, it's like going to the gym, right? If I show up at the gym, you know, once every 2 months, that scale, that number on that scale is not changing. Well, not changing in a good way.
Yeah.
But something that you mentioned though, there in our clubs we don't really have like an orientation for
No, we don't.
newcomers. And
But I like that I like that request. That's good.
That's good. VPE. I'm gonna look at this camera too. VPE. Let's do
Which
it.
camera are we looking at?
I don't know. We'll start over here. And
I just like I want to bounce that question a little bit. Do you guys have mentors?
Mentor?
Yeah. Actually, I don't.
You don't have a
understand.
mentor yet.
I don't understand. Yeah.
Ah.
I don't
We
know.
don't
There's a
have-
system in.
We not sure have this kind of assistant. We're not familiar with that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wow.
There's
Okay.
a mentor and mentee system.
Because I'm his mentor.
Yeah. Paul was my mentor. I think my most recent mentee was a guy named Mark who joined a couple of months before Kiki.
Oh.
And sometimes it's like you reach out to somebody. Other times the VP will help you out. I feel like Kiki, you and Linda talk quite a bit. I think Linda probably, if you asked her if she was your mentor, she'd be like, oh yeah, I love Kiki.
Oh. So we can just ask.
I would suggest you go and ask your VP for a mentor. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's the responsibility and what?
To help
what
you.
is- Oh.
So, like, for example, when Paul was my mentor, you know, I would talk to him about my story ideas. So we would sit together Fridays, that breakfast shop near your old
Breakfast shop.
apartment.
Yeah.
What's your speech tonight, Joe? What's the title about? What's the story? What's the core value? And they ask you a lot of these questions. And that's one side. The other is you have somebody to ask, like, oh, how do I be a timer?
Yeah.
How do I do this? How do I do that? And that's really, really helpful.
That's good to know. We should really make sure that the mentor system gets going. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. What's the next question, Judd?
Oh, yeah. I get so excited about one
Yeah, I
question.
know,
I'm like,
I
well,
know,
wait, we have
I know.
other things to talk about?
Yeah, we do have plenty of things. Yeah.
Well, moving on.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of ask, like, what skills have you already picked up in your time here? And what are you looking forward to picking up in the future?
Yeah.
And Molly, you've been in a little bit longer. You've given 4 speeches now. So I'm kind of curious, and we've started to talk about it with your PowerPoints. What skills do you think you've picked up while you've been here?
Well, I think it would be like humorous. Because when that kind of presentation and the evaluator will talk to other speaker and talk about that kind of humorous. I love your point. And at that time, I learned from other speakers and also put the kind of be like humorous in my speech. Yeah, that's one point. Another thing is like try to tell something which could touch or hurt. For example, like Sally, I really love her speech. Like every time, you just feel like you are in her story.
Yeah.
And you are a part of it. And that kind of atmosphere was cool. It's totally different than what I'm going to have a presentation in my company. It's not that kind of just reported. It's just like put someone in your story and we all grow together or see this kind of event happen. That was a truly storyteller. That what I would love to be.
The storytelling. And so
Sally's just amazing though.
yeah, Sally's speeches. I feel like Sally and Paul both of them kind of have that same quality. When you're listening to their story, it feels like you're just there in the moment, really bringing you in. It's a good skill. It's a hard skill though, in a way, especially if you're very data driven normally.
Come into my big data. I want to show you the matrix.
But actually, I think the only speech I've seen, because I often just go to TGIF. I'm sorry, Born to Shine. I really do
Where
love
were
you.
you last at?
Anyway,
There we go.
so I saw Molly you speak, and your speech was about traveling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought you were really getting that storytelling going in there.
Yeah, and I'm going to have another story tomorrow. I
Ah,
will go to have a business trip tomorrow.
build that next story.
Build the next
Yeah.
story. Yeah. But I mean, I must agree that last speech you did, the benefits of traveling alone.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you've taken you're speaking to another dimension almost, because you've stepped away from the PowerPoint. You're more confident on the stage. You know, using more body language, more vocal variety, and it's a good area to continue to grow in.
Yeah.
It really is and I would encourage you to continue to do that. You know, continue to just explore the boundaries of your speaking, and you know, at some point you'll just get really comfortable doing that. Yeah.
I agree with that, and I saw that there's a kind of different kind of view and dimension that what I can show to the audience or all the members, and that was great. And that's what I learned from the Toastmaster. We can use different kind of style, different kind of dimension, or different kind of content to show what we're going to be, and everyone could be the good storyteller.
Yeah, definitely.
I like I'm not going to say the name of the place, but a couple of years ago there was an organization that I was that I was really associated with for a number of years before, about 3 or 4 years before, and they were just trying to attract new members, and I'd already left, but they were trying to get new. Basically, it's like a university. They're trying to get new students, and they invited me to go along, but they also knew that I'm a very outspoken person. So they were very cautious about inviting me. And so they finally, like the representative of the organization came to Taipei, and like 3 days before the event, they called me and said, would you like to come and like speak? And I was like, sure, I can speak. And it was 3 days before. And I went there, and the lady before me, she had this like perfect PowerPoint. And I had no time to prepare a PowerPoint. And I just got up there and I started sharing stories about my experience in that organization. I just stood up there, Paul, just speaking, sharing about the benefits and the things I enjoyed. And that organization, yes, I was outspoken about some of the things, but they didn't have to worry because I really did have a good experience in that organization. And at the end of my speech, you know, not to, but you know, I don't really like to, but at the end of my speech, like I could really see like just the mechanical process of just standing up there and say, oh, this is me at this organization on this day doing this thing, was so mechanical. People weren't responding to that, but I was starting to share things about like workshops that we had and some of the stories in the workshops and people really responded to that at the end. Like everyone is talking to me, not to the lady with the PowerPoint. I really felt sorry for her because she put a lot of preparation into PowerPoint. And so I think there's a space for PowerPoint, but I think, you know, if you can combine PowerPoint with like just like pure storytelling techniques, it will like really be very, very persuasive. And I think that's something which I'm really encouraged to see you trying to explore right now.
Yeah, you're right.
That's fantastic.
It's amazing. Now, Kiki, obviously you haven't given as many speeches, but you know,
But she's got 4 kids.
you have. Ian, don't freak out. I'm just imagining your partner like. But what skills do you feel like maybe you've started to pick up since joining?
Oh, the first skill I pick up is I finally don't need to look at the script, or paper on my hand to finish a speech. That is the first thing I accomplished in this. But now now the next step I want to achieve is I want to remember. Maybe now I don't need the script on my hand, but I still follow script in my head.
Right.
So maybe at the beginning or at the end of a speech, I will forget, and then I just like this.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm like looking for overcome. Yeah, and also the ultimate goal is like Paul and Molly say is like be a good storyteller in English. That is the ultimate goal. I always like feel really impressed by like good speakers in Toastmasters. So I want to be like them. But like Carolyn always told me that they spend like many years and keep practicing, so they do this. So that is the goal I'm looking for.
Well, and we've spoken about this before when we spoke about contests, but my late wife Queenie and myself, when we entered competitions, we would go to Da'an Park and we would practice on the stage in Da'an Park 200 times before competition. And so people like looked at Queenie and they looked at her and she was like fantastic. Like she was just great. And before she went to work, she would go stay on the stage in Da'an Park by herself and practice a speech. And then I also did the same with her many times. And I do it by myself too. And people like, they think that it's something that is easily acquired. It is a real skill that people spend a long time developing. Like Steve Jobs, I heard Steve Jobs, his presentation, he practiced like 200 times.
Yeah.
So it's not something that you just stand up and do. It's something that you really, really practice. And that's why I say, like, that's why I come back to my point why, if you're doing one speech every 3 or 4 months, you're not getting better.
You don't have that opportunity. It's really hard.
I mean, I didn't, so earlier I spoke about the C10 speech, like the Commons Communicator, like most people have said would do that in a year. I did that in 3 months. I finished my 10 speeches in 3 months. There was one point where I did 3 speeches. And then also for the DCP points, like our, we've spoken about that before, but once like we needed to get some points from education, I did like 5 speeches in a week just to finish the goal of that DCP. But I made sure my speeches were well prepared, they were well delivered. And you just get that intensity. It really, really pushes you.
Yeah, I feel like the advice here is, when you have that stage time, have fun with it, definitely.
Yeah, sure.
But also look at it as it's time for you to train, right? You get to really grow and do something with it and take it seriously. It's funny that you of course mentioned, not funny, I guess coincidental, because in my mind, I was also thinking of Queenie's training.
Sure.
Because I remember there was one day Queenie was working on a contest speech. Contest is like really tense season.
Sure, they are.
And she got up and she forgot part of her speech and she stopped.
Yeah.
And actually, like, it was kind of encouraging for everybody because we look at like Paul and Queenie and Eric and Douglas and you think, oh, these people are just naturally gifted. Yeah. And it's like, no, Queenie actually like, really encouraged. What?
Joe's naturally gifted too.
Oh my goodness. I heard my name. I was like, who? But Queenie kind of reminded me, I remember that night is like, that's a new part.
Yeah.
I haven't worked on that part as much. And she kind of like pulled back the curtain on her training. And it's like, no, it's not just these people get up and do a really good job just like that. They really put in the time because they love the story or they really feel very strongly about it. And so I think, Paul's advice about getting in there and practicing more often, it'll help you so much. It really will.
Well, Joe, unfortunately, we're getting to the end.
I know. I'm so...
Time goes really quick, right?
It's just, I'm watching the time tick by. I'm so sad. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on. Paul.
Yeah, so we just want to know, like, you shared so much today, and we really appreciate that. And this is the last question we ask everybody. But how do you hope to grow in Toastmasters in the future? You're both new members, relatively new members. How do you hope to grow in Toastmasters in Born and Shine TGIF in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years?
We're pausing so you can think, because all of them are looking over like, what? But Molly, what do you think?
For sure term, it would be like I need to have more presentation because right now I only have 4 presentation now. So the goal will be 10. Still have 6 now. But for long.
Well, we reset from today, so that means 10 from now until next year, April. Not 6, 10.
Try my best.
Good, yeah. But please continue, yeah.
And for long term, I would like to build a relationship with all the members. So that's why I also joined the conference at end of April.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, yeah.
And also like to know more and know more about all the speakers and learn from Toastmaster. I believe that we could learn together, improve together, and shine together.
Oh, Born to shine, baby.
Born to shine.
Born to shine, baby.
I'm doing the pose
Yeah,
now.
the
Just-
pose.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is such a born to shine answer.
That is.
All right,
yeah.
Kiki, no pressure.
How do you know? I'm thinking about what
Yeah.
is it? My short-term goal will be more prepared speech and also more table topics practice because
Yeah.
for now I haven't got any chance to do table top except the only one time I do table topic is on like Chinese contest table topic.
Oh, that's
Wow.
right.
Yeah, that's the only time I did. So I think table topic is a great practice for like every member to look back on their own lives and think about what they learn in their own lives. And I think that is the essence of Toastmaster. We got this chance to share our stories and we got this chance to look back on our lives. What have we learned? And we feel like, wow, our lives are really full of stories and really, really impressive. And we love our lives like this kind of thing. So I would like to do more practice and speech like this to know more about myself and know more about others.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
we just gave you like about an hour of table topics practice here.
Yeah. You got- I mean, basically, like,
Basically, yeah. But I get what you're saying, like more table topics, and I just love what you say that this is the essence of Toastmasters to be able to share our stories. Like that was just beautiful.
it really,
Yeah.
really is. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. As you give speeches and you look for stories in your life, you find more stories as
Yeah.
you look.
Yeah.
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 Well, Paul, this clock is ticking by faster than I wanted.
I know. I'm just so thankful that both of you could join us today.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
You shared like tremendous insights, and we just appreciate you being so honest and so forthright with us and just sharing from your heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Joe, that was like a fantastic 1 hour talking to Molly, and
Kiki, right? And
Yeah.
it could have just kept going.
I know what was the main takeaway you got from that?
Other than learning that, even a good club like TGIF and a good club
Yeah.
like Born to Shine still have areas to improve.
Yeah,
For me, it was the reinforcement of how important it is to keep building on your storytelling skills.
exactly. Yeah,
Because both of them really are aiming for that.
yeah,
Both our PowerPoint queen, Molly,
yeah. She is a PowerPoint queen, really.
and Kiki, who's just getting her feet wet, starting to tell stories and really wanting to explore her life more. And I love that a lot. How about you?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. What I really enjoyed at the end, right at the end, was when Kiki was talking about having tabletop opportunities, and then she spoke about the essence of Toastmasters.
Yes.
And I just loved like how she distilled the essence of Toastmasters so clearly and so succinctly in just a few brief sentences. It was really, really good. I really liked that. But what I also liked to hear was from Molly was about how, as somebody who's really comfortable doing PowerPoint, how she really wants to acquire new storytelling skills and how she stepped away from PowerPoint and just trying to focus on the storytelling. And I'm really encouraged to hear that we provide that environment that allows people to challenge themselves in such a way.
Definitely. I think being able to see somebody step away from their strengths and really work on something that is a challenge for them is really encouraging. And definitely, I think TGIF and Born to Shine are creating an environment
Sure.
where they have that comfort that they can get evaluation, get feedback, and enjoy stage time.
So if you've never been in a Toastmasters club before and you really are a little bit shy, why don't you just pop in and give us a shot? And
That's right.
You'll find it's a completely different experience.
We're not just guys in suits and
Boring.
ties.
Boring.
Boring.
we refuse to be boring.
Absolutely. And friends, viewers, listeners, wherever you are, we'd like to remind you that we and you are built on love.
And born to shine.
Cheers.